All right, welcome to the Intelligent Public Speaking Masterclass. In this course, we are looking at mastering the art of intelligent public speaking. What is intelligent public speaking? Public speaking is a very vital tool. Anywhere you see people conversing, exchanging ideas together, having discussions, sharing information, casting news, acting, making presentations, or even arguing over a particular matter or subject, those people are engaged in what is called public speaking. So we see public speaking in our everyday life. We see public speaking at the marketplace when you are bargaining with people on what to buy or not buy. We see public speaking in the parks when you are trying to board a vehicle. We see public speaking at the airport when you are trying to board a plane. We see public speaking in our interactions with colleagues at work. We see public speaking in the family when you are discussing with your father or your mother, your brother or your sisters during a family meeting. Public speaking is everywhere around us. In fact, when you are saying nothing, you are even engaged in the art of public speaking, as we will see later in this course. In this course, you are going to learn how to speak in a more intelligent way and to lead more effectively through your speech. This course is designed for leaders, people who have a business with talking to other people. As far as you have a business using your voice to command influence, this course will definitely be a good one for you. Now let's try to define what intelligent public speaking is, because you see, public speaking is on one hand, but intelligent public speaking is on another hand. So whereas anything or activity that involves you communicating with people has an element of public speaking in it, on the other hand, intelligent public speaking involves the application, the knowledge first, then the application of different strategies, tips, ideas in order to execute your speech in a particular way. How? In a way that people consider you an intelligent speaker. There is a way you give response to things, and people will consider you as an intelligent speaker or intelligent communicator. There is a way you give response to things, and people will classify you as an unintelligent what? Speaker. And so the aim of this course is to actually help all of us to become intelligent communicators. The last thing you want is to open your mouth to speak and people start walking out on you because you have not applied the right principles and ideas. So let us now go deeper into what intelligent public speaking is. I do hope you have your writing materials, because this is going to be quite expository. And at the end of this training, you should become clearly a more improved version of yourself as far as public speaking is concerned. Let's define public speaking. We'll talk about public speaking as a vital skill for effective communication. Like I said before, public speaking involves conveying ideas clearly and confidently to an audience. Mastering this art can enhance your career, it can boost your confidence, and it can improve your ability to persuade people. Your ability to communicate clearly and confidently is a very important part of your public speaking journey. Hence, this training, you must be able to improve your ability to communicate what you already know in a very clear and confident manner. And this is what positions you as a better speaker. What are some strategies to become not just a public speaker, but an intelligent public speaker? The first thing you need to note is that everybody speaks, but not everybody is a great speaker. You might even want to say, oh, let me hide behind the scenes. While you are hiding behind the scenes, while you are not coming out in front of people, you are still telling people something. And that's the fact that you are timid, that you are shy, that you don't like standing in front of people. People read every action and inaction. And while we may quickly dismiss that it's none of their business or it's none of our concern, do not forget that they say action speaks louder than words. So while you are not saying anything, be careful that your body is not saying something else. There are three important things everyone can do to become a great speaker. There are three important things you need to do. Number one is that you need to embrace consistent practice as a public speaker. Consistent practice. So one of the best things you can do after this training is to start speaking. Public speaking is not about attending classes. Public speaking is more about executing what you were taught in the class. And that is why whenever we have classes like this, we always have a practical session where we allow our students to do videos of themselves making presentations and forward to our WhatsApp group so that we can review it together. So you have to embrace consistent practice. The next thing you need to do is that you need to adhere to a proven set of skills and tips. You have to adhere to a proven set of skills. So while public speaking is a very natural act, something that everybody does even from childhood, a child crying for um, milk from the mother is engaged in the art of public speaking because that child is communicating their ideas in a clear and confident way. Note, I did not say using the English language. I said in a clear and confident way. So that child who is able to cry and get the mother's attention is engaged in the art of public speaking. Question is, we don't know whether it is an intelligent way to communicate except when we weigh it on the scale of these tips that we are about to look at right now. Now, after you must have studied the skills and the tips that we are going to share here, the next thing you need to do is to start looking out for opportunities to improve your speech. What it means is that you don't attend one public speaking class and end it all there. You have to look for opportunities. You have to now go out and start watching other speakers more intentionally. You now have to start looking at people who are making awesome presentations and what skills they are applying. Because at the end of this training, you are going to now understand why we have these various skills and how you will now become more observant. You'll be able to observe it more clearly and see how other people are applying it. Now, the first thing you need to do is to understand your audience. If you are called to give a speech, the first question you need to do, the first question you need to ask yourself is, what nature of audience am I going to be speaking to? What is the nature of the audience that I will be speaking to? Knowing your audience is crucial for effective communication. Knowing your audience is very, very important for effective communication. And it is when you have understood your audience that you can now tailor your message to suit their own interest, to suit their own needs, and to suit their own expectations. As a public speaker, it might interest you to know that you don't just come up with your own content. You come up with your content based on the needs, expectations, and interests of your audience. There was once upon a time several years ago when I was invited to speak at a particular function. I was an upcoming, still mastering my craft as a speaker. I had gotten quite a level of experience speaking, but I still had things to learn, just as we do now. Everyone's still growing. And I went to an event. I was given a topic. I came up confidently. I presented my speech, and it got an ovation, a standing ovation. In fact, a lot of people um, gave me positive feedback after that particular event. Later on, when I spoke with my mentor, who was also part of the invited guests in that event, he said to me, "That was a lovely presentation." And then he went ahead to criticize. He told me that whenever you are given a topic to speak at an event, it is good courtesy to not change the topic. And so it suddenly dawned on me that even though I was given a particular topic, I had rephrased that topic to suit me. I think that that's one of the best advices I had ever gotten as far as my public speaking journey is concerned. Now, what does that apply to you? Whenever you are given a topic that you are supposed to speak on as a speaker, you need to actually work on the topic. Even though you may have other things you want to add, you can make them as subtopics, but do not change the topic of your presentation as presented to you by the host of the event, except you are the host of that particular event. I hope this is very clear. The reason why you do this is so that you can engage with your audience properly. You can engage with your audience properly. You don't want them wondering. You don't want them wondering whether you were told what exactly you were coming to present. So do not tweak the topic. The main topic should remain the main topic, what you were given to speak on. Then let other things be subtopics. Of course, you should also try to connect with your audience when you start speaking. Connect with them. Try to understand things from their perspective. It will enable you to create a lasting impact. Let's look at how you can define your objectives as a speaker. How to how to define your objectives as a speaker. You need to answer two important questions: what and why. What and why. Under what, the questions to ask are: what am I to present? What am I to present? And this is your topic. So you write it down. What am I to present? Before you go up to speak, ask yourself, what is it that I've been asked to come and present? Make sure you write it down for clarity purpose. Now, the next question, which is under what, is to what nature of audience? So, who are the people that are inviting me? Am I going to be speaking to a first class final year student? Am I going to speak to a group of first class final year students? Or am I speaking to top executives in a multinational company? Am I speaking to top leaders in my organization? Am I going to be speaking to ministers of the gospel? You want to ask yourself, to what nature of audience? You might even be speaking to new converts in your church. New converts in your church. This is also a nature of audience. Now, the reason why you need to answer this question is that it will enable you to know how to present what you are presenting. Back in the time, we used to make marketing presentations back then to our direct selling company. We had prospects, we had students, we had partners, we had prodigies, and each audience had a unique approach. There were those who were coming for the very first time. So we had what we called an initial public offering, an IPO. That presentation was different. The aim of the IPO was to create curiosity. It was to create curiosity and to bring about interest. The next time the person is showing up, the second time, we take the presentation deeper. So it's not about exposition and curiosity this time. We are now going deeper into product presentation, helping the person understand the product. The third time the person is coming, you now go into closing, helping the person to make a decision to get started. Now, under what? The next question you need to answer is, what do I need to make this presentation a success? So you need to ask yourself, do I need a projector for this presentation? If yes, how do I organize and get the projector? Ask yourself, what will I be needing during this presentation? Will I be needing a marker and a whiteboard? Will I be needing my laptop? Will I be needing a mobile phone? What kind of illustrations will I require, and where can I source them from? Can I find them on the internet? Where can I get all of these things that I need? You have to answer these questions early enough, not on the day of your presentation, but before the presentation proper. The next question you need to answer is, why is it that of all the people that are in this world, I am the one that is asked to make this presentation? This question for me is one of the most important. You need to find out why you are the favorite person to make this particular presentation. And in most cases, it's not like other people cannot make a presentation, but it's simply, most of the time, it's because you have a particular flavor that you bring to the table. For instance, anybody can pick up materials, study about a happy marriage, and come and teach it. But a person who has been married for 20 years has more to say about marriage than somebody who just studied materials on marriage. For example, a person who who has been expecting for several years has more to say about waiting for children than a person who just got married and got children immediately. So why are you the candidate chosen to speak about it? What is your personal story? It is that flavor that you bring to the presentation that makes you who you are. So even though you have been given a topic, one of the things you must do as an intelligent public speaker is to always have your story, your personal story. That personal story is what will reflect in any topic that you are given. You will find a way to make that story become part of that presentation. It is an amazing skill, and whenever you successfully do this, there is no limit to the kind of presentation that you will actually enjoy. Let us go further. Let's talk about your purpose as a presenter. Let's consider your purpose in this way. Your purpose is something that you always find yourself talking about. There is something you always talk about. So let me ask you now, what do people say you always talk about? Have you ever taken time to take stock of it? What do people always say you talk about? There is something that people say, you have come now. I know you, I always knew you would bring up this topic. For some people, it's football. No matter what they are saying, they must bring examples from football. For some people, it's the Bible or the Quran or humanity. Whatever it is that you always find yourself talking about, Whatever it is that people always refer to you as, you should check your purpose is around that. So as an activity, I would ask you, get a sheet of paper, write down at least 3 to 5 things that people always say that you like to talk about. Number one, put it down. Number two, write it down. And number three, put it down. It will enable us move forward with other ones. Quickly do that. Now let's look at number two. It is possible that no matter what you are discussing with people, there is a particular thing you cannot fail to mention. No matter what you are discussing, that particular topic from your mouth will always jump in unconsciously. You don't know, but it's always like that. It's as if you cannot stay without talking about it. Find out. That's always a pointer to your purpose. So the activity under this section is, what is it that you never fail to talk about every time? Even if you did not plan to talk about it, you will just find yourself arguing that Mbappe is going to score more goals this season. And it seems like that is what always comes your way. Think about it. There is another person that no matter what you are discussing, even if you are discussing business, you will always find a way to quote a scripture that supports your business. I think that is your purpose. You are walking in line with your purpose. What is that particular thing that you are so passionate about? Because it will always start with passion. It will always start with passion. Before we start talking about how it becomes your life, or it makes you money, or it grows you, it has to begin with a passion. It is something you are passionate about to the extent that it will always come even naturally. So what is it that you never fail to talk about every time, even if unconsciously? Number three, you might be in a very boring conversation, but immediately a particular topic is mentioned, you will suddenly wake up. When we were in school those days, we can have very boring teachers. Can have very, very boring teachers. Teachers who don't know how to, they can teach, but they don't make the class interesting. Meanwhile, there are teachers that know both their audience and how to eat it. They know the thing and they know how to present it. That's what I meant. And so it is the same way in public speaking. Is there a topic that no matter how boring the conversation is, whenever that thing is mentioned, your spirit seems to come alive? If you check, that area is where your purpose lies. Because you need to discover your purpose in life. It will influence how you communicate. Once your purpose is discovered, your public speaking skills will take a triple jump from where it is now to where it should be. Of course, backed up with knowledge in that particular field. So what you need to do right now as an activity under this session is to write down what makes you brighten up. Even if the conversation was boring before now, write down as many things as you can recall that make you come alive, even though you were not even enjoying the conversation before. Finally, define what you always fall back to. Define what you always fall back to. Define what you always fall back to. There is a topic that always comes back to you naturally. Define it. What is that topic that you always fall back to? Let's end with the structure of a presentation. This is the last video slide for this part. Then in the next part, we will now go to how to tap into the power of storytelling, where we also talk about body language and other things. Now, a good presentation has about three important parts. Actually, you can break down these three into other components, but these are the three most important parts of a presentation. The first thing you need to do is to have a very clear and confident introduction. A clear and confident introduction. Within the first 3 seconds of your presentation, people have formed an opinion about you. It is the duty of the presenter to either debunk bad notions or create positive notions in the mind of his or her audience. So what that means is that within your first 3 seconds of coming up on stage, people have told themselves this presentation will be good or this presentation is not worth my time. 3 seconds, that's how small it is. So what it implies is that immediately you are coming up, make sure you hit the nail on the head. Make sure you catch the attention of your audience. It's a 3 second principle. It does not permit you to lag around. You don't use these 3 seconds to hum. You have to come out as confidently as possible. And this introduction must be clear and confidently delivered. The second part of your presentation is the body of the presentation. This is where you put in detail. This is where you have details. So do not bring in details in your introduction. Remember, I said the first 3 seconds. Your introduction lasts between 3 seconds to 10 seconds. So between the first 3 seconds to 10 seconds, make sure you have already done a perfect introduction. The aim of this particular part is to help people get connected with you. That's before you move into the body. The body is where you have details. The introduction is where you connect with people. So in the body of your presentation, you give more information. This is where you talk about everything that you prepared to come and teach them. This is where you go deep into facts and figures. So in the body of your presentation is where you give examples, you give illustrations, you talk about the things on your slide, talk about the things on your note, point out examples, make references, everything about your presentation. And then finally, your presentation must have a concluding part. It is called the conclusion. Focus on the main points and just support them with few examples so that you are sure of clarity and retention. Under conclusion, you might also want to ask questions and or open the floor for people to ask you questions. In the second part of the training, we are going to look at how you can use storytelling to enhance your presentation. We look at the power of storytelling. We'll also be talking about body language and how it affects your presentation, and so many other tips on how to master your body language and become a more effective speaker. This is still the intelligent public speaking course, and I hope that you find value at the end of this training. I hope that you become more intentional about your speaking, learning how to speak intelligently, and eventually becoming a more confident leader. My name still remains William Udoh. See you in the next part.